Hello everyone, this is Teacher A again. I know na matagal na tayo hindi nagme-meet on my YouTube account. That's why I was not able to upload things before, mga videos na kagaya nito. Perhaps I'm doing my personal errands and work as public school teacher. But now, because it's holiday, I want to greet everyone belated Merry Christmas and advance Happy New Year sa ating lahat. Naway ang 2022 po ay maging makabuluhan at maging magrasya para sa ating lahat. Now, without further ado, let's start our new video lesson on English 8 for the second quarter, Module 5. Now, the topic for this part would be recognize positive and negative messages conveyed in a text. Now, sometimes we recognize positive and negative messages whenever that we hear it from a news or we hear it from different marites in your neighborhood. Alam ko, sikat na sikat ngayon ng mga marites na yan. But for this time, in the absence of physical teaching and only topping it with online distance learning and the modular distance learning, we will be identifying or recognizing what are the positive and negative messages conveyed in a particular text. Now, the most important things whenever that you want to recognize or to identify or to analyze the positivities and negativities of a particular message or a context is that you need to enhance your critical thinking. Now, in the definition in our module, critical thinking is clear, rational, logical, and independent thinking. It's about improving thinking by analyzing, assessing, and reconstructing how we think. It also means thinking in a self-regulated and self-corrective manner. It involves mindful communication, problem solving, and a freedom from bias or egocentric tendency. Critical thinking skills are one of the most fundamental skills involved in making judgments and solving problems. You use them every day, and you can continue improving them. You can apply critical thinking to any kind of subject, either a problem or a situation you choose. The academic setting demands more of us in terms of critical thinking than everyday life. It demands that we evaluate information and analyze myriad of issues. Now, critical thinking, it's about how you logically assess or analyze a particular message. Because nowadays, fake news are in every corner of the social media, in any platforms that you use. That's why you should improve and upskill yourself in terms of critical thinking. Now, these are the things that you need to do in order for you to improve yourself in critical thinking. The first one would be think about the topic or issue in an objective and critical way. When you say objective, you should base your thinking not only on your personal feelings, but also on the statistics, on facts, or even experiments available on you. And you should make it on a critical way. You just not make any decision or analysis based on your personal point of view alone. Now, the second one would be you should identify the different arguments there are in relation to a particular issue. Sometimes we should also consider two sides of the coin. It's not only the head, it's not only the tail, but we should consider the different arguments before judging or jumping into any conclusion. Number 3 would be evaluate the point of view to determine how strong or valid it is. Notice what implications there might be behind the statement or argument. Sometimes you should also seek details. You should also identify details on those bigger picture of the arguments. The last one would be you should provide structured reasoning and support for an argument that we wish to make. Now, if you are recognizing or analyzing the positivities and negativities of a message, you should also provide a structured reasoning. What would be your basis? What are the details? What would be the supporting ideas that you may present in your reasons. Now, you should also consider this one whenever that you are reading a particular message, a particular news, perhaps an article in a newspaper or online blog. You should consider these following questions. You may ask them to yourself first. Next one, for this particular slide, we have this picture analysis. It's one of the, if I'm not mistaken, technique or a strategy that can guide you to develop your critical thinking skill in analyzing and recognizing the positive and negative concepts or meaning in a particular message. Now, this strategy serves as a guide to closely analyze images. Now, we will be using our visual aesthetic, our visual skill for this particular discussion that we have here. By following the steps in image analysis procedure, you will develop critical thinking skills, enhance observation and interpretative skills, and develop conceptual learning technique. Now, picture analysis does not only provide you the critical thinking, but it also encapsulated on how you enhance your observation and how you acquire interpretative skills and conceptual learning techniques. Now we have the step one would be the description, one of the technique. It describes what you see in as much detail as possible. You may list down information about the images, the colors, the lines, the placement of the objects, and other details. We can actually develop or formulate a conclusion if we look into even the simplest detail in a particular picture. We have a sample picture here. There you have it, our favorite Jollibee. Okay, you may include how do the food were arranged, how do the chicken arrange the color, perhaps the shapes. We can include that on our details. The second one, we also have the identification. Identification is the record of basic information about the piece. What do you know about it? Who created it? That's why I am telling you that you should ask those questions first to yourself. It can be applicable in a poster, a book, a film, or advertisement in a newspaper. Just like for this example, we have here a poster, different colors, different images, different combination of symbols. Perhaps you can create your interpretation about this poster. Next one would be the interpretation. Analyze the image's message, of course, for every picture, for every painting, for every artwork that we see in our visual skill. We can actually make interpretation of those things. People might see a picture differently on how you view it. That's why we have different interpretation. Just like for this one, it is somehow a poster. You can give your interpretation differently to other people. Yeah, perhaps you can see details. You must be keen on every detail that is presented in this picture. You can also consider the color, the text, the background, and the symbols that they used. Next in line, we have also the evaluation. Is this image effective? Does it successfully communicate its intended message? Is it fair? Does it use lies or misleading information to express its messages? Now, on this part, you must evaluate if it is effective or the picture itself is fair, does not use any lies, or it might mislead people in terms of the information. Now, for this part, you can state that if it is positive or a negative message. Now, for this example, we have here a particular advertisement from different country that we downloaded. You can have your own message or interpretation here, your evaluation on how this picture interact with you in a positive or a negative way. That will be all our module 5.